this opportunity to thank the government of the People's Republic of China, the government of the province of Hangzhou, and UNESCO for the excellent facilities and arrangements given for our disposal since we arrived in this very, very beautiful and historic city of Hangzhou. We've really enjoyed the conversation, and we go back to Malawi enriched. I would also like to commit that we in Malawi fully support the theme of this conference to make culture, to give culture a place in the sustainable development agenda. So once again, thank you very much, and once again, greetings from the President of Malawi. Thank you.
Je voudrais tout simplement faire un petit commentaire. Évidemment, tout ce qui a été dit est la résultante de tous les travaux qui ont été les nôtres. Et nous ne pouvons que remercier ceux qui ont pu réaliser une synthèse aussi efficace. Mais ce que je voudrais dire ici, c'est qu'en réalité, nous sommes en train de prêcher aux convertis que nous sommes. Nous sommes des convertis et nous nous prêchons à nous-mêmes. L'important serait que les 500 membres de délégation qui sont ici puissent devenir les ambassadeurs de la culture dans leur pays respectif. Que chacun à son niveau fasse en sorte que la culture soit non seulement dans le programme de développement, mais que la culture fasse désormais partie intégrante des programmes d'éducation. De tous les programmes d'enseignement et la culture dans leur cursus. Je vous remercie.
Okay, thank you. The last one, President of the Association of Architecture.
Une partie de ce que je voulais dire a déjà été dit en français, donc je ne le répéterai pas en français. Évidemment, je suis Albert Buzer, je suis le président de l'Union internationale des architectes. Je n'ai pas eu beaucoup l'occasion de m'exprimer, mais l'expression d'idées des architectes a été ce matin fortement exprimée par Hangzhou il y a une demi-heure ici. Je n'ai pas eu beaucoup de temps de m'exprimer, j'ai dit, mais comme par magie, j'adhère absolument à tout ce qui a été énoncé dans la déclaration de Hangzhou. Je me ferai l'ambassadeur de ce message aux 131 pays membres de l'Union internationale des architectes et aux 1 500 000 architectes qui sont des acteurs créatifs de la culture, puisque l'architecture est une expression qui persiste de la culture, puisque nous construisons aujourd'hui le patrimoine de nos enfants et de nos petits-enfants. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If there is no objection, I would like to announce the adoption of Hangzhou Declaration entitled Placing Culture as the Heart of Sustainable Development Policy. Thanks. Adopted. Ladies and gentlemen, we acknowledge the remarkable contribution of Hangzhou City and municipal leadership to make this conference such a great success. As the first outcome of our meeting, Hangzhou Municipal Government, UNESCO, and the Chinese National Commission agreed to take this further action to sign a three-party joint statement in the witness of all participants. This is the first follow-up at the national level. Please. Thank you. Thank you. Now, let's invite Madam Ogoyayi, Chairperson of General Conference, to deliver speech.
Bonjour, guten Morgen, buenos días, dobry dzień, good morning, jó napot kívánok. That would be my mother tongue, Hungarian, but I'm going to speak in English, don't worry. It is really a great honor and privilege, I think, for all of us to be here in this wonderful city. President of the conference, Minister of Education of China, representative of China at the Executive Board, ADG for Culture, ADG for Strategic Planning, Director for the World Heritage Center, Head of Intangible Cultural Heritage, Head of Diversity of Cultural Expressions, Ministers, representatives of the governments, dear friends, and of course the Vice Mayor of the city. Thank you very much for organizing this conference, for coming to this conference. I think we've been here only really for 4 days, but we really experienced what is intercultural dialogue. I learned yesterday a word which is an indigenous Maori word in Australia, Papapo, if I remember well, and it means treasury box. I always thought that cultural diversity, what we are just representing here, all of us, is a real treasury box. It's full of unsuspected jewels. And if we take cultural diversity as a source of inspiration and not a burden, then we will be enlightened, we will be close to each other, and we will be able to share who we are. And if we are able to share who we are, where we are coming from, what is our culture, what is our identity, then we can hope that you will also share with us. So this process should start from our own heart. So what we have experienced here in these 4 days was a real sharing experience, I would say. Sharing also with the very kindness of the volunteers and of all the people who made this conference a reality. Distinguished participants, dear colleagues, it was indeed very appropriate that we all came to Hangzhou, China, to this conference to discuss the role of culture in sustainable development at the level of the UN. This is the place where the ancient Chinese culture, made even richer by its historical tolerance towards other cultures and religions, contrasts with the rapid economic development that is fundamentally altering the physical as well as cultural landscape of the region. I think we have all agreed on that culture is our DNA. I have just recently met the father of DNA, Professor Watson in England, and I told him that we are using this sort of phrase that we call culture as our DNA, and what would he say to that as a scientist, and really fund the DNA? And he said, yeah, actually, this is really true. So we have this possibility to use it also on the scientific level. And in China, culture is firmly rooted in the identity and in the spiritual and intellectual aspirations of people, giving meaning to their common past and their shared future. Here, we see most vividly the indispensable nature of culture in fostering economic development, improving the quality of life and security of the people, and ushering societies to evolve along a sustainable path. During the Congress, we were given clear examples of cultures as vectors towards fostering social cohesion, tolerance, dialogue, reconciliation, and ultimately lasting peace. My dear friend Stephen Cole hosted one of the panels, and he said culture can be a real catalyst of peace making and peace building. But he also quoted that culture is the source of conflict and the source of conflict resolution. So we have to choose. We have to work on that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think all of us agree that the post-2015 development agenda must have culture as one of the pillars, because it is culture that nurtures those values that we, as human beings, need in order to give economic development a human face. Driven by greed and rapacious materialism, which leaves less and less space for thinking with soul and heart, we have exhausted natural resources and destabilized ecological balance. Here the need for value-based approach based on respecting nature and acknowledging our invisibility from it is all too apparent. These values are found in all cultural and artistic traditions around the world. The appalling truth is, ladies and gentlemen, that the unequal distribution of benefits of globalization and scientific progress, which continues to widen the social and economic divisions, depriving millions of people of their dignity and leading to tensions and violence around the globe, must be changed. Often, global inequalities are perpetuated not only by the economic circumstances, but I would say largely from the absence of ethical approach grounded in culture, ethical thinking, and ethical action in the leading global financial systems and institutions, the banks, the funds, and even the governments. It is therefore evident that any attempt to address inequalities on a global scale must involve a strong cultural component. Culture is like the papago, the treasure box, as I said, full of unexpected jewels. If we cannot see ourselves in the cultural context from which we come from, and if we lose our ties with our collective past, globalization and scientific progress will make us poorer and not richer. Ladies and gentlemen, however, the role of culture in development is a relatively new concept and needs a deeper understanding through international reflection and analysis of the policies and practices in that area. This Congress, organized by UNESCO and China, will certainly be an important step towards the end. But honorable ministers, excellencies, ambassadors, representatives, we all have to build a case for the after 2015 agenda. We all are convinced that culture is the heart, or is in the heart, of sustainable development. But we have to push it, support it in New York, through our governments, through our ambassadors and delegations. Dear friends, I was delighted to hear in March in UNESCO about the new designation of the Goodwill Ambassador, a composer, a conductor, 10 down, in recognition, as we say, of his efforts to promote intercultural dialogue through music, consciousness of the scarcity of natural resources such as water, and the diversity of languages, as well as for his dedication to the ideals and aims of the organization. Tan Zun is known for his creative repertoire that spans the boundaries of classical music, multimedia performance, Eastern and Western traditions. Today, more than ever, we need artists such him to promote the cultural aspect of globalization. I would like to commend again UNESCO Secretariat, Director General, Assistant Director Generals, all the staff of UNESCO, the City of Hangzhou, the National Commission of UNESCO, and of course all the participants who made this conference so important. And a very special thanks goes to the Ambassador of China at UNESCO, who has invited a few ambassadors of UNESCO. Here I am with ambassadors from Macedonia, United Arab Emirates, Nicaragua, Cote d'Ivoire,